Every time you start and stop an exercise practice, something more consequential than a missed session takes place. You confirm a story about who you are. The story is rarely spoken aloud. It operates beneath conscious awareness, accumulating weight with each abandoned attempt. I'm not a consistent person. I start strong and fade. This is just how it goes. Each cycle of enthusiasm followed by drift adds another data point. The identity hardens. This is the real cost of the quitter's cycle. Sure, there's lost fitness, but the shrinking sense of what's possible for you is much more damaging. The identity of someone who tries and stops becomes the lens through which every new attempt is viewed. You do not begin a new practice with a beginner's optimism. You begin it by bracing for the letdown you have learned to expect. And because identity shapes behavior more reliably than any plan or program, the lack of follow-through is the unsurprising outcome. Hey there, it's me, Core, and you're listening to Exercising Consistency, from fitness to flourishing. There's a popular model of personal development called be, do, have. First, be the kind of person who succeeds. Then, being that person, do what is necessary. Then, as a result, have what you want. The sequence sounds logical, but it's not only wrong, it's harmful. It treats identity as a prerequisite for action. It tells you that be comes before do, and so people wait. They try to manufacture an internal state. They try to feel like someone who exercises before they exercise. They try to believe they are consistent before they have acted consistently. This feels like preparation, but it ends up being paralysis. The internal state never arrives because the internal state does not exist independently of the action that demonstrates it. Identity is not a feeling you adopt or a story you tell yourself. It's what you do. The workout you complete when you do not feel like doing it is the identity. The session you execute after the honeymoon has ended is the identity. The choice to act in the moment when it would be easier not to is the identity. There is no identity beneath the action waiting to be felt. There is only the action itself. Virtue, personal excellence, is a value in action. Short of enactment, the value does not exist in any morally meaningful sense. You cannot be disciplined in the abstract. You can only choose a disciplined action. The action is the discipline. The action is the identity. They are the same event. Most people get this backward. They believe the identity must be earned through accumulated action. Put in the months, stack the sessions, then eventually you become someone who exercises. But this treats identity as a retrospective pattern, a summary of past behavior that lives in memory but not in the present moment. The quitter's cycle feeds on this error. It treats the past as evidence of who you are, and the future as a place where that person might change. Both moves avoid the only moment where choice actually exists. This one, right now. You have started and stopped a dozen times. That is data about past choices. It is not data about the choice in front of you. The choosing self, the prooresis, as it's known by the Stoics, is not determined by past conditioning or prior character. It operates in the present. The next choice remains entirely open. This is not a comforting idea. It's a statement about how choice actually works. You are not the sum of your history. That may reflect a trend, even a reliable trend, but it's not the final answer. You can buck the trend at any point, becoming someone new. You are what you choose in this moment, and then in this moment, and then in this one. The quitter's cycle ends when you stop treating identity as something you build toward and recognize it as something you enact. A choice made now, and now, and now. Choose the identity. The action is the choice. There is no becoming. There is only doing in the moment. To exercise consistency and become the person who follows through, whatever the circumstances, join the Act Score Challenge. That's it for today. Catch you next time.